the way we lean into these relationships, we're so broken, and then we get into relationships and we want women to pretty much raise us and coddle us and you know, put bandages on our wounds, which is all good, but it's just it becomes a very interesting dynamic.
Well, that's a lot of weight to put on a woman,
Wait,
and the expectations that you have when you come into a relationship is not even conscious as a man.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it's present until you start reacting to stuff, right? Until you start having beef and she starts saying stuff and you react in a certain way. I know for me, my whole thing with Diana was about control. So growing up, by the time I was in junior high, I came up in a very liberal house. My mom was like, just a lot of stuff. I had freedoms. And so I didn't have curfews and stuff like that, growing up past, 8th grade and high school stuff. So by the time I got to a certain age, like I was doing my thing. So by the time I'm getting married, when you talk about somebody asking you where you going or when you be back type of stuff, reasonable, right? You live together, you're making dinner or you can go to bed or something, reasonable stuff. But the way you're interpreting that message is you trying to control me. Like I got to check in with you. It's like, so we spent a lot of years just uncoding, decoding messages that, was like, what do you really mean? Like all of that stuff, because I had things in me that I didn't even know was present till we started arguing about it.
It was funny because I remember being in your apartment, and I think you were in the kitchen doing something. My wife might not have been there, or she was in another room, and I'm sitting at the table with Diana, right? And so I'm talking to D, and we're talking about marriage. And the crazy thing is, this is when y'all were in a box. Now y'all in like a mansion, right? But like when y'all were like in a smaller, so pretty much whatever we talked about, I know everybody else had to hear it. But I don't know if you remember having this conversation because you weren't in it. It was just me and D. And I'll never forget. She gave me advice that I will live with for the rest of my life, and I still try to unpack it and try to understand it. But she looked at me and said, I had to make a conscious effort to know who I married. And I said, okay. Like, where you going? And she says, I know at my core, I know that Jay would never say or do anything to hurt me, like intentionally. Like I know that. And so when I'm receiving things, and particularly if I don't necessarily like the way I'm receiving them, like I take that deep breath and I connect with the fact that this man, God didn't give him to me to hurt me. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, yo, that's kind of dope. Because at the end of the day, like her whole spirit and even telling me was just like, look, I'm not saying I like it. I'm not saying I like the delivery, but I'm saying that I can hold myself accountable to know, like, yo, that's my trigger. And if I take a deep breath and I realize I tap into knowing that, okay, the delivery might be a little off, and we can work on that when we're both at an elevate, like a even playing field. Mm-hmm. But at this moment, what is the message? Because I know he was designed to pour into me and not to like to hurt me.
Right.
And I said that. So what I took away from that was like, yo, that takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
Like that takes a lot of discipline. And just like Jay, you always go grabbing books, man. You've always grabbed the book. Always.
For real? That's what I do.
You got references, you got tabs, you got stickers. Yo, this
I'm saying
me of that book, Jim Collins.
I'm saying I do got some stickers right there. I do got some tabs in there. But I was just supplementing off what you said, brother. You jumped it off.